did you have anything to do with the murder of Tupac Shakur?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I wasn't even in Nevada. I wasn't in Nevada, period.
We had got hit with Hit 'em Up. I had to make the call to Biggie, and I said, we're not gonna respond. Somebody's gonna get hurt if we respond.
You need more proof? Biggie ain't here, so Big can't give you no receipts. He dead. Craig Mack can't give you receipts. He dead. What are you talking about?
So there's a new update in the Tupac murder case after a Nevada judge just shut down Keefe D's attempt to block a police confession tape from being played at his trial. And now Mase is speaking out, and you already know Diddy's name is part of this conversation. See, this trial has to scare Diddy. If Keefe is found guilty, he could say Diddy hired him. That's conspiracy to commit murder, and Diddy's already in jail. That means he could be tried again before his release date. The gunman who took Tupac down, Orlando Anderson, is already dead. Keefe was allegedly in the car when Orlando fired the shots. But the most important thing for Tupac to get justice is to find the person who orchestrated the whole thing. And according to Mase, Keefe knows who this person is.
It was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there.
So the Tupac murder trial is finally moving forward, and it's set to begin on August 10th. The trial was supposed to start earlier, but it got pushed back several times. And now we have a major update. Last Tuesday, a Nevada judge ruled that a key piece of evidence, a 2008 police interview with Keefe D, can be used in court. This trial has been a long time coming. In September of this year, it will mark 30 years since Tupac was killed, and Keefe D is still the only person who's been charged. Now, what exactly is on this police confession tape that Keefe tried to block? So what we know is that Keefe told police that his nephew, Orlando Anderson, was the one who fired the shots. He used the phrase "popped them," referring to both Tupac and Suge Knight during that night in Las Vegas in September 1996. Keefe's lawyer tried to block the recording and argued that police told him the interview would stay confidential and wouldn't be used against him. But prosecutors pushed back and claimed that argument doesn't hold up anymore because Keefe wrote a memoir called Compton Street Legend and has given multiple interviews where he openly talked about what happened that night. The judge sided with the prosecution, so the recording is allowed in. Besides that, Keefe's memoir will also be allowed as evidence. Keefe's lawyer tried to block it by arguing it's just a fictionalized version of events that Keefe wrote to make money, but the judge didn't buy it. Now, if you recall, Keefe was arrested in September 2023, just 2 weeks before Cassie dropped her lawsuit against Diddy. So once Cassie's lawsuit hit, it pretty much sucked all the air out of the room. For months and months, the public and the media were focused on the freak-offs, the wild allegations from other victims, the settlements, and then the raids, the baby oil, the alleged tapes of other celebs. It was a crazy time.
With the story that federal authorities raided Combs' Holmby Hills home for the criminal investigation.
We recovered 3 AR-15s.
Court documents now reveal authorities located AR-15s, narcotics, and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil lubricant in those raids.
Combs allegedly planned and controlled the performances, which he called freak-offs.
Meanwhile, the Tupac case, which should have been huge news, kind of got pushed to the background. So Keefe D's arrest didn't get a lot of attention, even though it was a major development, because Keefe and Diddy go way back. Keefe has said they first met around 1991 during the filming of an Usher music video. Diddy's production team needed some lowriders for the shoot, and Keefe had a hydraulics shop, so he brought his cars in. From there, Keefe and Diddy built what Keefe said was a friendly relationship through the early 90s.
He had called up our hydraulic place and asked to use a lowrider. Okay. That's when Usher first did his first video, Can I Get With You? So I went up and took my lowrider up there and shit. This is Usher's first video. Puff was driving the car and stuff like that. That's when I met Puff originally.
Now, Keefe D later admitted in his book that he was there on the night Tupac was killed, and he provided the gun used in the shooting. The shooting was reportedly retaliation for a fight involving Tupac and some death row members at the MGM Grand earlier that evening. The other 3 people who were in the car that night, including Orlando Anderson, have all since died and were never charged. And if Keefe D is found guilty, he's facing life in prison without parole. But we know Keefe didn't plan this. He was working on someone's orders, and you already know a lot of people think Diddy orchestrated the whole thing. So back in 2006, the LAPD brought in Detective Greg Kading to look into Biggie's murder. That investigation actually started because because Biggie's mom filed a lawsuit against the LAPD, claiming they'd covered up her son's killing. And while he was working the case, Kading came across something pretty major. He found that back in 1997, just months after Tupac was killed, an informant had reportedly told investigators that Diddy offered $1 million to the Southside Crips to take out both Tupac and Suge Knight. And later on, Keefe D allegedly ended up confirming that story.
Bolstering Keefe D's claim was an informant in 1997 who told investigators that Puffy had hired the Southside Crips to kill both Suge and Tupac, and that the Crip who was jumped at the MGM was in the group that had done the hit, and that they originally were going to do it at Suge's Vegas nightclub, but then decided to do it right away instead of waiting. This was exactly the same story that Keefe D told us a decade later.
So if this part about Diddy offering $1 million can be heard on Keefe's 2008 confession tape, and that tape gets played in court once the trial starts, that will open a whole nother can of worms. Now, a lot of people on social media are saying this means Diddy could be charged for ordering Tupac's murder. However, Detective Kading doesn't think it's going to happen. According to Kading, for prosecutors to actually build a case against Diddy, they would need solid, reliable witnesses who can back up what Keefe said on that tape. And so far, it doesn't seem like those witnesses exist, or at least not ones credible enough to hold up in court.
You're going to need some really strong, credible, corroborating witnesses. You're going to need people that said, I was there when a financial transaction took place and it was very clear what that money was for. I was there when the agreement was made. I spoke with Puff about it and he told me that he'd hired these guys. You know, you're gonna need some really strong, credible witnesses to support what Keefe D said. Absent that, you're dead in the water.
So do you think it'll ever be possible that anything will get to Puffy or no?
Not, in my opinion, I don't see it happening.
But let's bring it back to Mase, because this is where the rabbit hole goes deeper. So here's the deal with Mase. He's not directly connected to the Tupac case itself, but he's definitely been part of the conversation around it. Back in October 2023, right after Keefe got arrested, Mase was on his show with Cameron discussing the news, and he did this whole thing where he acted confused and kept asking who Keefe D was.
Hey, wait. Where do I know that name from?
You know that?
That name sound familiar.
He rolling over in his sail right now.
That's crazy.
So what why is Keefe D in jail? What happened?
Bro, we all know the legend.
For the people who don't know
what
what
happened.
happened.
Don't know, Keefe D's in jail for the alleged Tupac Shakur that happened 27 years ago.
Right.
All the people that was supposed to be involved in the dead. He just only one alive.
I'm not playing. Where do I know that name from? Because I'm still kind of lost.
Yeah, you know.
No, for real. I don't know what you're talking about.
Now, some fans said this was Mase's way of throwing shade at Diddy without actually saying anything directly. But others said Mase is distancing himself from the whole case because he doesn't want to be implicated. And where things get interesting about Mase and his experience during that whole East Coast, West Coast era is after Biggie got killed in '97, Mase said he was basically trapped in his hotel room in LA because there were like 70 Bloods in the hallway looking for bad boy artists. He said he came to LA with people, but didn't leave with them. And that experience made him decide he was done with that life.
And when you heard this information, what was your next actions?
My next actions? After what?
When you heard Biggie died, did you stay in your hotel room? Did you leave out? Did you want to go back to New York?
I actually was trapped in a hotel.
Now I want to ask the question. What do you mean trapped?
It was about probably like 70 or so Bloods in the hallway. I couldn't even leave my room.
How'd you get out?
One of the guys.
Why would it be 70 Bloods in your hallway after Biggie Smalls died?
Actually, after Big got killed, they was probably looking for more bad boy artists, and I couldn't even leave the room till Gene Dill, the officer had to come get me.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
I was left in LA. And from that day, I always said, you know what, I'm out of here.
Now, since Mase was one of Diddy's artists, some folks have suspected that Mase knows way more than he lets on about Tupac's murder. Someone said, Mase leaving the industry and heading straight to the church is very telling. He definitely has some secrets. And another person wrote, Mase left rap and became an ordained pastor? Yeah, right. He got some skeletons in his closet he's not telling anyone about. But let me know what you think. Does Mase know something about Tupac's case that he's not telling us? And do you think Diddy could actually get charged once Keefe's trial starts? Or has that ship sailed? Drop your comments below and I'll catch you in the next one.